The secret of the 6 days of creation. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 through 19 states, "And God said, Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times, and days and years, and let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth. And it was so. God made 2 great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening and there was morning, the 4th day. When the seeds were initially planted, already there was the ability to achieve golden fields and reap those yellow fields. For instance, when a persimmon seed is planted, and it bears root and becomes a sap, and eventually a true tree, it will eventually bear fruit. If you plant a soybean, eventually the soybean will grow. And if you plant a red bean, eventually red bean will grow. This is a truth that any farmer will know. John chapter 15 verse 1 states, "I am the true vine and my Father is the gardener." The heart of a farmer is a good example of the heart of God. God has made human farmers and allowed them to achieve golden fields and reap from those fields. If so, when is the time to reap? And who will be the one to reap? Isaiah chapter 46 verse 10 states, "I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times what is still to come. I say, my purpose will stand and I will do all that I please." God has made known the end of the day at the beginning, during the creation. Therefore, in Genesis is hidden the secret events at the end of the world, at the end of the day. This was God's providence, and similar to how God said that he will accomplish all that will make him happy and pleased. This is hidden in Genesis. Genesis is not merely a history of events that occurred in the past. Genesis was written by Moses, who recorded 1,500 years of history that occurred before him, written as clearly as though he was present there. Moses was able to record it this way because God had shown it to him as a revelation. Matthew chapter 13 verse 35 states, "So it was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world." Jesus has also said that he will say things that have been hidden since the creation of the world in Genesis. He will reveal these things. Psalms chapter 78 verse 2 through 3 states, "I will open my mouth with a parable. I will utter hidden things, things from of old, things we have heard and known, things our ancestors have told us." The secrets of Genesis are things that we have heard and known as our ancestors told us. But we also need to realize that within Genesis are the secrets of God. Most people today know that one day is 24 hours, and it is within 6 days that God created the heavens and the earth. But in the Bible is recorded what a day is to the Lord. Psalms chapter 89 verse 29 states, "I will establish his line forever, his throne as long as the heavens endure." And 2 Peter chapter 3 through 8 states, "But do not forget this one thing, dear friends. With the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." The 6 days that are referred to during the creation of heaven and earth are a day with the Lord, and not 6 days in a human sense, to the reasoning of a human. It was said that with the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. We need to realize that one day to the Lord is different from one day to humans on earth. Therefore, if we look at the creation of heaven and earth, one day referred to during the creation is not one day, 24 hours in a human sense. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 through 5 states, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning, the first day. At the beginning, God spoke, and there was already sky and space and land which he created. God said, Let there be lights, is a command to the sky. And there was light, meaning the creation of light was completed. God separated the light and darkness. The light was called day, and darkness called night. And we understood this light to mean the sun. However, this light and darkness indicated in the Bible verse does not indicate the light from the sun, which is daytime, and darkness, which is nighttime. The reason being that the sun was not even created until the fourth day. Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 through 19 states, "And God said, let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times, and days and years, and let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the fourth day. God created the sun, moon, and stars on the fourth day. Then, since He created the sun on the fourth day, it means from day 1 through 3, those days passed without the existence of a sun. How can we consider a day without the existence of the sun as the equivalent of a day with the existence of the sun? We should look to the Bible to see the difference between how long a day is without the sun and how long a day is with the sun. Genesis chapter 1 verse 11 through 13 states, "Then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it according to their various kinds. And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw it was good, and there was evening and there was morning, the third day." On the third day, God created vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it. These were good and complete. Thus, the creation of something on one day goes from the beginning of creation to its completion, and that is one day. The light created by God on the first day was not the light of the sun. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 6 states, "For God, who said, let light shine out of darkness, made His light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of God's glory displayed in the face of Christ." The light shining in our hearts is not the light of the 6,000-degree sun. It is a spiritual light. Therefore, Genesis chapter 1 verse 3, when God said, "Let there be light," that light was the light of life. On the first day, He created the light of life, and then He created vegetation and fruit. Since completed vegetation and fruit-bearing trees cannot bear fruit without the sun, God created the sun on the fourth day. And thus, one day in a day of creation cannot be calculated by a human day, as it is a day of heaven. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 through 31 states, "So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God He created them. Male and female He created them. God blessed them and said to them, Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the sky and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth and all the birds in the sky and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw all that He had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. On the sixth day, God created mankind, and He called it one day from the beginning of the creation of man to its completion. Completion means planting a seed and seeing it through to its bearing fruit. However, the completion of man was not with the creation of Adam, the first to disobey. Instead, the Bible refers to mankind bearing first fruits as occurring in the time of Revelations. Revelations chapter 14, verse 4 through 5 states, "These are those who did not defile themselves with women, for they remain virgins. They follow the Lamb wherever He goes. They were purchased from among mankind and offered as firstfruits to God and the Lamb. No lie was found in their mouths. They are blameless." The firstfruits of mankind are referred to in Revelation chapter 14 as prophecy on what is to come. Those without fault or blame, complete, are those purchased from among mankind. However, there was no perfect human, and God has not yet reaped the firstfruits from among men. Therefore, the 144,000 who are to be reaped as firstfruits from among men has not occurred yet, and until it does, the sixth day has not been completed. Thus, if we were to understand this as heaven's day, it is still the sixth day. God created mankind on the sixth day, and a day in the days of creation consists of from the beginning to its completion. Therefore, the first fruits among mankind must also be created in order for that day to be completed. As such, this era today is the time of the completion of the sixth day. On 1 John chapter 1 verse 5, it states that God is light to describe what light is. And in John chapter 1 verse 1, it states that the Word was God. So if God's Word is light, we hope you may all become well-ripened fruit to be reaped as the 144,000 first fruits.